Okay, guys, I'm now solidly in the camp of hand counting the paper ballots in the swing states. We need a recount. We need a recount. We have to know what happened. There are too many inconsistencies, irregularities, too many things that don't make sense. I find it very hard to believe that even though we have a racist and sexist country, that there were millions of people that voted Democrat down ballot in swing states, but not at the top. Come on, get real. Get real. And if that did happen, then we need to know it and learn from it. But here's the thing. We have a finite amount of time to do this before everything is over on Inauguration Day. It has to be done now. Whatever we can do. We've got Elon Musk out there apparently saying on Joe Rogan's show that he has this app, and he's got Starlink, and he was able to find out who won 4 hours in advance. None of this is making sense. I mean, this is the guy who talks to Putin on a regular basis and has a defense contract and clearance with the United States Department of Defense. None of this is okay. If they have this capability to cheat at the tabulation level rather than at the cast your vote at the machine level, then we need to know it because we know Putin cheated, tried to cheat for Trump in 2016. A bipartisan GOP Senate-led committee told us that. We know it from the Mueller report. Of course, they tried again in 2020. That's why they went in such a panic when the pandemic meant that people were mailing in their votes instead of using the machines, and they panicked, and that's why they took the mailboxes out of the heavily black Democratic neighborhoods so people could not send in their mail-in vote, and why Louis DeJoy dismantled the $2 million a piece mail sorting machines to try and prevent those mail-in paper ballots from coming in. Well, they failed, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won. So they had to try something different this time. But please, just because we haven't figured out precisely what they've done, please don't think they didn't do anything. Do you really think that a man like Donald Trump, who has cheated at every single thing in his life, his entire life, everything, that he was going to play by the book this time? Come on, folks. Come on. He was even saying he didn't need your vote because he already had him. He was told he had him. Speaker Mike Johnson also let spill the beans. Something was up, and we know it. And we know it. I think Elon Musk kind of wants certain people to know it because he knows he can get away with it. I think they like to flaunt this. And dealing with MAGA on this, they're idiots or they're just bad people who don't give a crap. So I think we have to really put the pressure on to do a recount, hand count the paper ballots in the swing states. We have to know what happened. And our opportunity to find out, that window is closing quickly. We may never be able to do anything about it, but we have to do all we can to find out what happened. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin. If they could do it, they would. You know this. We want to make ourselves feel better so we don't have to do anything. We'd rather go lick our wounds than fight. But we still have a couple months left here where we can at least try and find out what happened and prevent it. Look for it again because something happened. We know it. Something happened. There was a reason why they were putting out bogus polls, why Republicans were flooding the zone with bad polls, because they thought Trump would lose, but they wanted to make it seem like, oh, but the polls said he'd win, so now we should, say that the thing was rigged. Well, the good polls show Kamala Harris ahead, especially in the popular vote. So, yeah, I think something happened. We just haven't figured it out yet. Again, it's almost not even worth having a conversation with people to say, oh, but you have proof. No, we're looking for the proof because we know something doesn't smell right. We know something doesn't smell right, okay? And we're not going to have a chance to take a look at this stuff again. So my suggestion is that you accept the fact that Putin would cheat if he can, that Trump would cheat if he can, and Elon Musk would cheat if he can. Please understand, they cheated everything. This is what they do. Look at how they do elections in Russia. And put pressure, please, on everybody, your governors, the DNC, the White House, DOJ, yeah. But we got to do this. It's our last shot. And again, We could find out exactly what they did, like Mueller did, and not be able to do a thing about it, especially when you have people who don't have the political will or the kahunas to do it. But if we give up this shot now, if we don't at least try to find out what happened, it's it. That's it. I mean, I think we're kind of over as a country anyway, but let's at least get a recount. So I'm all in on calling for a hand recount of the paper ballots in the swing states. I think it's the right thing to do. I think there's information in this. And maybe what it does is down the road, if we get to have real elections and they don't look like Russia elections, and this one, I just have a feeling that something happened. And I thought something happened in 2016 on election night when, the exit polling showed that Trump lost. He looks at Melania and said, "We lost." They got that call from the guy from ABC News giving them the information they weren't supposed to have. Polls were still open. And then over the course of the next 3 hours, 77,000 votes perfectly distributed among 3 battleground states went for Trump, giving him the Electoral College win. And remember, Manafort had given Kalimnik internal campaign polling data before that, earlier. And that's the same as giving it to Putin. So when you start telling people, oh, take off the tinfoil hat, that is not helpful. Yes, some of the stuff out there is conspiratorial and isn't helpful. But there are just too many questions surrounding the votes in these battleground states. And I don't see a problem with demanding a recount by hand. Let's do it.